Hello and welcome to InspiHER'd, your grown-up girl talk. I'm Stacey Fleece with my co-host Samantha Tredelius on another sunny spring Friday, recording on yet another Friday. How are you, girl?
You know what? I love a back-to-back day, and I also love a day where we get to have three blondes again on the screen talking about cool shit. Okay?
Yes, and today we're going to talk a little bit about filling a market need. And it doesn't really seem like the one would transition from what we're doing to filling this market. I'm dying to know how this works.
Yeah,
I don't
same.
know. I don't know how. I'm literally scratching my head trying to figure out how Elizabeth figured this out. So anyway, we have with us Elizabeth Shiels, who is with she co-founded with her sister-in-law Nora Rock Paper Coin. However, you are a woman of many talents. Um, First of all, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to chat with both of you.
You are an award-winning event planner, business strategist. You have well over a decade in managing a top event planning company. So that is kind of the foundation of what we're talking about today. I mean, that's your business, that's your passion, that's where you really grew up, right? Which is a
Yeah.
whole conversation in and of itself. Um, and then a little spoiler alert, you and Nora decided that you were going to fill a need that you saw in this industry by creating a software platform,
Yes.
which I don't like event planner to software engineer. I don't, this is where I struggle to understand how this happens. So, Elizabeth, I'm going to need you to hold my hand and walk me through it because I'm not, I
We're
love it.
lost.
I'm not getting it.
No, well, it wasn't pretty. And thank God we are naive, because I don't know if we would do it had we known what it was going to take.
I
That is just
love
totally
that.
honest.
I
And
love that take. Let's
yes,
let's though first talk about the event planning side because
yes,
that's kind of where you started, where you grew
yeah,
up. Tell us how you got into that.
yeah.
It's such a God, it's such an important industry that I could never ever work in because I murder somebody in my
It's
first week.
so stressful.
Yeah, I
No,
couldn't do it. But tell us about how
yes,
you got into it and how you grew your company and
yeah.
how it came to be.
So Nora graduated from college, and the like capstone of her senior year, there was a business competition, and she submitted a business idea to start a wedding planning company in Portland, and she won the business competition out of the like entire senior class of business majors. And she with that she got a little bit of cash to go and actually start the business. So in
That's so
2002,
cool.
yeah, she started a planning company called Bridal Bliss, and she was growing and doing well. And, blogs were kind of around at this time, like the 2005, 2006 era, where they were just coming up. And I was graduating from college, and I was reading this blog about weddings. And I was like, oh man, I just like accepted this like desk job. Like, how boring, like, womp womp. What am I really doing? And I was like, I should just intern for fun on the side. I just should just see what wedding planning is like. And pretty much right away, I was like, oh, wow, like this is exactly what I should be doing. Like, I kind of get it. I kind of have this intuition, and I'm really good at taking care of people. And so I just started slowly working with Nora, and we started working really well together. And it was through this that we kind of decided, like, yeah, let's really explore what we can do if we start to grow and expand this company beyond just Portland. So I started growing the down in Bend, Oregon, which is just like a couple hours south of Portland, and then up into the Seattle market where I was originally from. Started growing and expanding the team. We were running a team of about 40 women doing like
Wow.
150 events a year.
Damn.
Yes, it was great, and we were just like thrilled with the growth in the team, and everything was clicking except payments. We just could not figure out like why it was so hard for people to pay, not only us, but like their vendors. And, we didn't have like Venmo then. And, PayPal was like a thing, but it also kind of still felt fraudulent. Like people were like, can I really,
Yeah, it's still
paying?
sketchy. It's still sketchy today sometimes.
A bit, a bit. I'm like, okay, is that really your username? So we just really thought like there has to be a better way. Why can't DocuSign and PayPal get married? And why can't we just send a contract and, sign it and then have the payment be right on the next screen? So we just went out looking for software. And it felt like everything we were trying was just archaic. It wasn't beautiful or cute or like, spark joy in us. And so we were like, why are we using this, probably produced by some old male like that has no idea what the event industry actually needs. So we just naively were like, why don't we build something? Like, how hard could it really be? And we met with some engineers and we were like, we have this idea. And they were like, okay, like, yeah, we think we can build this for you, but it's going to cost like a lot of money. And we were like, oh, we put aside $50,000. And they were like, oh, you're going to need to add like 4 or 5 like zeros to that. Like, we're
What?
talking, this is going to be like, if you want this like full-fledged product, like this is going to be millions. We're like, oh no, like what are we gonna do?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hold the phone.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. We were like, well, that's not gonna be it. So we did a bunch of market research. We started emailing with all of our vendors, like nationwide. We were putting out, at this time we were growing and expanding, becoming kind of leaders in the like wedding planning and event space and speaking. And so we kept on just asking people, like, what are you using? And everyone kept being like, we're not using anything. But what are you guys using? And it always kept back like, well, what are you doing? You're growing, you're expanding. We are like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's get really scrappy. Let's hire a couple engineers. Let's see if we can at least get like a test product. And then we can kind of go to market with like it in a test form and see what the traction is. And that's really kind of how we started out. And it from there started to grow and expand quite quickly, which allows us to go out and raise money from investors and hire a team and then really start to scale the company.
And how many subscribers do you guys have now?
We have probably, I'm going to say like 1,200 active like businesses. And
No big
then,
deal.
yeah, it's been good. Yep.
No big deal.
And I would say on average, probably 10,000 customers pass through our doors any given month, all
Wow.
like new that are just like paying invoices or, accessing contracts or documents on the platform. So it's a lot, it's high traffic.
Yeah.
So
So
first of all, I think it's
like
really cool that you expected a software to spark joy in you. I don't know that there's any application platform of any kind that I can honestly say sparks joy in me.
Like,
But
wouldn't it bring you so much more happiness
I
and be like, I'll
I
log in.
mean,
It's gonna be fun and pretty and cute, and it will make me feel good while I'm on this platform.
yeah, right. It'll make me feel good while I'm spending this ridiculous amount of money for a wedding. But
Yes.
so you bring on a couple engineers, you make a test platform, like, and it feels like this was during a time where like people had app ideas and they were developing
Yeah,
apps, and but there was a lot of disasters. There was a
there
lot
was.
of like blow ups in that world.
There was.
So
Yeah. Yeah,
you
lots
know
of apps, lots of ideas. And that, honestly, it made it really, really hard because when we wanted to go out and fundraise, people only knew of like failures. They hadn't seen a success story come out of the wedding and event industry that had really done well in growth and was able to make lots of money for their investors. And we just kept saying like, but we are the customer. Like we know this product. What we don't know is the engineering side. And so that's been the reverse for everybody who's come before us is that they know the engineering side or they know the technology side, but they don't know the industry. And that's really where our secret sauce lied is that we are the customer. So if it's not solving my problem, I'm not building it. Even if like every investor under the umbrella is telling me you need to have this, you need to build that or do this, it's like, but I wouldn't use it. So why do I need that? Why would I complicate my software?
yeah.
I always have found, from hosting events, just from the nonprofit world, how many vendors are like super lame with their billing. And like, I mean, I'm in insurance as a trade, and so it's like you don't get your policy unless you pay, and then we bind.
Right.
But a lot of vendors, like I would get a bill sometimes like weeks later, and I'm
Yeah,
like, how are your payable? Like this is
I know.
bananas. So what you built is something to just kind of change that whole
Yeah.
program.
Yes, it's really unfortunate for this industry, and I have started like speaking pretty heavily on this topic of we all get into this industry of events and become vendors because we love to do our craft. We love to make flowers, we love to bake cakes, we love to whatever it is. but we typically do not have the back end business savviness that a lot of corporations can offer because we are so creative. And so oftentimes the back end of the business, which is what allows you to do your trade, is such a second thought that everybody's like, oh, whatever, I'll just invoice them later. Like, we're all good people, we're all in this together. And it's kind of until you get, screwed over that you realize, like, holy shit, I need to get my act together.
Yeah.
And that's really what is unfortunate for me to watch. And what I actually love is seeing somebody who doesn't have a system in place getting on rock, paper, coin. And almost instantly, they're like, wait, I didn't realize like this is elevating my company so much. Like I got paid instantly, or I'm not tracking down contracts anymore. And it's like, yeah, like this is what it should be. But because we're this like female heavy creative industry, a lot of people don't pay attention to it. And we're one of the first to actually build software for the industry, which is just sad in my opinion.
Wild.
Well, and it gives these cottage creative types it gives them an image of legitimacy, and I'm not saying they're not legitimate, but we all work on computers
Right.
and on our phone. We walk around with a computer in our pockets
Yeah.
in our phones, so we're
Right.
used to seeing and software that sparks joy, right? Something that makes us happy and more. So
Right. Well,
it also gives them a sense of legitimacy that maybe they wouldn't have without it. But I want to talk a little bit about the successes that you've had with your software. 84% of invoices for your customers are now paid before they are due.
Boom.
10x lower disputes. Hey,
yeah.
here's an idea.
I know.
64% of your clients' contracts are signed in 24 hours, and it now averages less than 3 days to complete a contract for your customers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is obviously giving
Can you
everybody
bring
a
this into
big,
the insurance business?
I know, right?
obviously giving people in your industry a big lift. But what kind of feedback are you getting from your customers on this?
I mean, our customers are just so happy that they found us and that they're using us. And I think the minute you send your first contract and invoice and you realize how instantaneous that payment is or that signature is, it's this big unlock. You're like, oh, okay, great. I need to now move over my entire book of business onto this platform. I think a lot of people are worried about disrupting their workflows or technology, but the reality is that the clients today, whether you're in corporate events or whether you're in weddings, they are technology facing, technology driven
Yes.
clients that are signing and paying. And they're not going to go to their boss to wait for a check, or they're not going to go and print off some contract and sign it and fax it back. Like they
No.
would likely move on to the next proposal if that's how archaic your workflow is.
Or like, or you're just not able to get back to them in a fast fashion too. I mean, because guess what? The person who can and it looks legit and slick, they're
They're
getting
going,
the business every single day. So I might be speaking out of tune here, but are you going to be getting into other industries?
yes. So that is what's been very exciting is that the wedding and event industry has gone really well. We've gotten great adoption. And as you heard, like people who sign up, they stay with us. Like we don't lose businesses out the back door. We've been around now for in business for technically 6 years. And all of our customers that were with us on year one are still with us. So we know the product works. We know that people love the product because it's simple and easy to use. We are not shoving AI down people's throats. We are not forcing them into workflows. It is just a simple send a proposal, a contract, invoice. Like that's it. We don't want to be this one-stop shop because that's when it gets too confusing. So we just want to own the booking workflow. We're now kind of opening up to look into the experience industry, as we like to call it. Like, so think of like independent contractors, designers, event producers, like a much broader market of like a creative industry. And I think from there, we're going to kind of see how that goes and then what other industries we want to come and tackle. We feel really, really confident that the wedding and event industry and the event industry as a whole, as both of you know, is very complex. And if we've solved that, we're looking forward to then going into other industries where maybe there's different nuances that we need to learn and then tweak and refine the product for those specific industries.
So, okay, so are you, but you're still doing wedding and event planning.
We are not. So we are solely focused on the software company, but we still own the planning company and they have to test all of our new products and new features for us. But we hired a team in place. So they're still operational today, which is great because we get firsthand data. So like when COVID hit and, every business was reeling from COVID, waiting for reports or waiting to see what was happening on the software and technology side, we just were seeing it firsthand. So we could pivot really quickly.
I love, so last week I heard that Allbirds, the shoe company,
Yes.
went
Yes.
out of business and they're now pivoting to an AI company,
AI. Yeah.
which is an absolute leap that nobody saw coming and makes zero sense. And yet here you are, you're like, I'm no longer an event planner. I'm now a software.
Yeah.
I own a software company.
Yeah.
I feel like it feels like an Allbird type leap, yet it's not because you filled a specific need within your company. And for everybody who's listening right now, I want you to buckle up because the brainstorm of this idea came from listening to a podcast.
Yeah.
So people, you should be subscribing to this podcast because you don't know when your
Yeah.
idea is going to hit
It's gonna hit.
as a result of
True.
listening to Inspired. Tell us about the
Yes.
podcast that inspired
Yeah.
this.
So, we were kind of thinking through this whole, what are we going to do? What company are we going to use? Yada, yada, yada for software. And I was on a walk listening to How I Built This about Airbnb. And they were talking about how they really had this unlock when they realized that if they could take one penny from every dollar and make it, even while they were asleep, they were going to have a business model. And that's when I realized I was like, wait, why am I looking for a software company when I could become the software company and take a penny from every dollar and make it even while I sleep? And can I do that in this event industry where I bring everybody under one umbrella? I go and negotiate the rates with these payment processing companies, these contract companies on behalf of everyone, and then I get to pass along the discounts. Isn't this a win-win? And it was really that idea of like, well, let's just bring everyone together and I'll build it and, whatever. And da 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 da. And Nora and I, we were out to cocktails and we were talking about it and we were like, let's do this. Like, you never really believe in yourselves. And we finally were like, okay, well, no one's done it so far. And so why can't we do this? And it was kind of this moment of like too many cocktails mixed with like maybe some overconfidence mixed with like a need in the industry and a podcast
That's
and it
how
all came.
brilliance is made, though. I mean, it's like those fuck it moments where you're just like, you know
Totally.
what? Like, I've got nothing to lose. There's nothing else out there, and nothing warms our heart more than a woman who did not find what she wanted in the
Yeah.
marketplace and was like, hold my cocktails. I'm gonna start this myself. And look what you've built. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is so cool. I always love to hear, and it's like my favorite question for any guest is like, what was the biggest pain point, or what is still the biggest pain point? Was it learning the computer world software? I
Yeah.
mean, was it managing just an industry that's crazy? Like, what was that big
Yeah.
moment?
I think there was like two that really stand out is that we went into our first engineering meeting being like, we have all of our notes, we know exactly what we want. And then they started talking like code and tech words. And I mean, I didn't even know what engineers did. I just knew that I needed them to build this software. And we sat there both so quietly, acting like we knew exactly what they were saying. We were like, And then we walked out and we were like, okay, I have no fucking clue what just happened in that meeting. Like, what did we just get
What did any
into?
of that mean? I don't know.
I know. We had to go home and like Google everything. And we were just like sitting side by side being like, wait, okay, so what did this mean? And did you get that? And, we eventually like kind of found our way and learned it. And, we can talk the talk now and walk the walk. But that was like a big, like, ooh, we might be out of our league here. And then I would say the other one, which just bums me out, is just being a female in the software and kind of like startup industry. I can't tell you how many times I was just like not even given the credit, not even given the time of day to get a meeting or in a meeting, people calling me sweetie, telling me that I remind them of their daughters, telling
Mhm.
me, I'm cute and like I need help. And I just was like, this is a wild industry. And no wonder women only make up 2% because if I didn't have my conviction, I would have been out so fast being treated that way.
So what you're saying is it's just a galdemic, as we call it. It's just industry wide that us ladies are just constant. I mean, we're both in financial services, and it's
So,
like
I mean, yeah,
it's a lot of khaki pants and it's a different vibe. But
yeah,
the tech, the AI, the whole space is definitely it's a new world, but it's also a very male dominated world, unfortunately. And it's
yeah,
thank you for being, real and raw and sharing that because it's I mean, it's 2026. It's like, what the fuck, guys?
Well, the proof is in the pudding. Look at the female CEO performing performance metrics versus the male CEO performance metrics across a lot of industries. And like, I think women do an amazing job of building culture and being relatable and having the emotional intelligence to support a team. Like we all, whether we are mothers or not, we all can mother collectively for companies that we love. And all of my employees are just like so near and dear to my heart. And I'm just like, that's why they've been with us. I think our newest employee has been with us for 5 years now. And it's like, this is just like in women's DNA is to take care of people. So no wonder there's more employee satisfaction and more revenue and
But you know
it's just
what's
about
crazy is when women are funded by venture, like it is proven that women, either pay back quicker or, have a higher success rate than many male businesses, but yet they still are like the least on the totem pole
yeah,
to
yeah.
get a meeting.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I think that's just been the hard part that really it's like I got pretty, I don't know, beaten down by it to just be like, what do you mean? Like I watch so many counterparts come in with, at the same kind of like time and place and get way more funding than me, and they are out of business today. Their ideas like are overinflated, understudied, and of course I'm generalizing because, safe space women here, but it just really is a bummer that still in 2026 we're at a disadvantage when it comes to these opportunities.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Where do you see your biggest challenges as you scale, as you continue to scale this, not only within the wedding and event planning
Please
industry, but
comes in
also
with the best
into new
questions.
industries?
Yeah.
Stacey coming in hot with the good questions, man.
We're growing and scaling pretty quickly right now. And I think one of the biggest challenges is making sure that, we're up on all of the regulations, we're up on all of the, legalities of running a payments company. So we just launched into Canada on Monday.
Oh,
And
congrats.
thanks.
Hmm.
But just, getting everything ready for that. And in the 12th hour, I sent our lawyer, and I was like, okay, think we're ready. I think we're going to press go. And here's, everything I've done. And she's like, no, 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 no. You're still missing a few things. It was just like, you grow and it's exciting, but then you grow so big that then you get all these regulations and you have to start doing all these tax filings in different states. And I think that right now is where I'm seeing like, oh boy, the hard part I thought was going to be building this. I think it's actually I'm just starting to see this door crack open that I'm like, oh, that looks ugly behind that door. Do we have to do
Yeah,
this?
the administration of the company itself becomes a pretty significant burden, which is not where you want to be using your brain.
No. And I did have a thought that I was like, this is why small businesses get burnt out and go out of business.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
there's so much red tape.
Well,
And
there's no how-to book. And that's the thing I think. I mean, when we were growing our insurance agency, we were, getting into different states and doing, and
yeah,
there's so many rules, with insurance, but also just doing business in Texas versus California versus New York and how you file and what you file and how you have to be, you have to have an address, physical. There's no
yeah,
rule book. And
mm-mm.
so everything you learn is literally by being lit on fire
Yes.
every day.
Yeah. And you like make a mistake and then the state of California is like, you owe us $3,200. You're like, for what? Like,
I
okay,
remember
I
my
didn't know.
favorite learning one was being in downtown San Francisco. There was a personal property tax on your desks, your chairs, everything that was in your office. And I remember getting a bill for like $15,000, and I was like, for what? And literally, like you had to pay this crazy tax because you
Yes.
didn't file something. And it was like, dude, I mean, it's a racket.
Yes. It is. It is a racket. And I think it's good that there is regulation, so not just any, Joe Schmo can do this, but a little more guidance or a
It's
little more
exhausting.
leeway for first time,
But even when you read
builders.
on like the state websites, the
There's
different tax, like you're just like, who's writing this?
I was like, it's not clear. Like,
They
I don't
all
know
need
who's,
Claude. They need
yeah.
to get into Claude and they need to get it
Yes.
transparent for the normal common folk to be able to decipher the hieroglyphic because it doesn't make sense.
Okay, whoever's listening, this is our startup idea for
Yes.
you is we need to somehow to make documentation
Yes.
have like a Cliff Notes version that actually has the tangibles.
I
oh,
mean,
you mean a business idea from a podcast?
hey now.
What?
Hey now. Okay, here's my number one question. You and Nora, you guys are still friends?
Yes, so we are.
You've managed to stay friends throughout this?
Yeah. We were business partners for a very long time. She introduced me to her brother-in-law, and we got married. So we are married to a set of brothers. So we added family on top
Oh.
of an already like great working
Did you
relationship.
plan
And
your did you plan each other's weddings? Did you plan your own wedding?
I know, yes, we
Who
did.
planned your wedding?
We planned our own weddings, and
Okay.
there was the whole team to support, and it was awesome. But
Did you get
we have
married in
a
Seattle?
in Portland.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a very, very, very special relationship. And I think because of that, we also understand that there's really nothing in this business world that is so important. It's worth ruining a friendship and,
And
family
family.
relationship over. Yeah. And so I think if somebody's really passionate, we usually say, like, hey, this actually means a lot to me. And then the other person's like, you know what? Okay, then great. Let's go with that. And that's just kind of how we've been operating. And we've been doing business together my gosh. So almost 15, 16 years now.
Love it.
Amazing.
So
Love it.
it works. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's like when you find your person, you got your person. Fleece is my person.
Yeah,
Okay. We
So
do
nice.
life together.
we do.
How long have
I,
you guys been working together?
well, we've been buds for 20 years.
Yeah.
Um,
And we've been
and
nonprofiting for 10 and
Yeah.
it's
doing other various things here and there throughout the process.
Yeah. It's
causing
just
causing
nice.
good trouble. No, but
Right.
it is. It's good and it's, people compliment each other in different ways, which is very cool. So
Yeah.
here's my $1 million question. Okay, so being in events, you
Yeah.
get weird things. People want weird stuff. One of our best girlfriends is a event planner and she does a lot of like big events and
I
like
love it.
crazy ass requests. What's the weirdest thing someone has ever asked you to do?
I got a text at I think it was like 5:50 a.m. on a wedding day. They were already at it was like an hour away from Portland. They were already at their venue. She was at breakfast at the restaurant and wanted toast, but didn't want to ask the waitress for the toast. And so she wanted me to call the restaurant to have toast sent to her table. I was like,
I
oh
don't
no, I am in
I
for a
don't
day.
even I don't even understand why.
I would have
I
just
don't think I
said,
want to know why.
I would have just said no.
I, I was like, I think the most efficient way is for you to ask the waitress. I was like, I will see you at 9 a.m.
I think the best thing here
Good
is
answer.
for you to order your own goddamn toast.
I know, I
We
know.
had my girlfriend had monkeys, like a request for like monkeys, camels in like
Oh,
an
I mean,
office
yes.
environment, just like
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
Elephants are pretty common
No.
request for entrances into weddings. We do get that one. Yeah, we definitely had
Do you
some
source
interest.
elephants?
We can. We have once. It is not cheap. So typically we're
Yeah.
like, how about a horse?
Yeah.
That
How
seems
about,
Not the same, but
that
yeah.
seems right though. That seems right.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
people are crazy. And I think also like the emotional part, like the wedding, like events are events, but like a wedding, I feel like is just like such an emotional
Yeah,
situation for people. And
true.
they get psycho and like, when they're young and they don't know and they're just like, you know, part of me, and I know it probably doesn't serve in the event space, but like when you look at these people spending like hundreds of thousands of dollars on weddings and you're just like, dude, honestly, in like 10 years, you're not gonna give a shit about any of this.
Yeah, you could buy a
Save,
house with that.
go buy a house.
Truly. Or donate it or
I mean,
do
it's one
something.
thing if you just have an endless supply of money, but I always think it's so interesting where
I
these
know.
girls want so much stuff, and it's just like, honestly, at the end of the day, nobody cares.
I know. Pinterest has been an amazing tool, but it also has really reshaped our industry
Yeah, I
where
bet.
everybody thinks that they're owed this like curated, picture. And I want to be like, that this was not a real wedding. Like this is a
Yeah, this is pretend.
completely like fake, yeah, set
This is
up
a fairy
off
tale.
table that took like 10 hours to build out, like
Yeah,
For
it's
a
not real
picture.
life.
yeah.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah.
Bananas. Elizabeth, you're just the business. Rockpapercoin.com is where you
Yeah.
can learn more about this incredible software. Keep an eye on them. They're on the gram, they're on the Facebook, they're everywhere. We'll put you in our show notes. We love a woman, like I said, who saw a need in the marketplace and, got together with her girl and made it happen. We think you are just the business. And we hope that everybody gets out there this week, this month, this year, and is inspired.